Good morning, YouTube world. So this morning, if you follow me on Instagram, you know what I'm doing today. I am canning pickles. But they're not pickles yet, they're still cucumbers. So technically, I'm canning cucumbers. So, thought I'd show you my sink. Full. It was full to the brim of nice, very cold water that I'm going to be washing them in and cutting them. As you can see, pan you over here. I've got my workstation set up. My discard bowl, my bowl for uckies and ends and stuff like that. And where I'm going to be cutting them into. I don't have my measuring cup yet, but I'll grab that in a minute. But I thought I'd show you this. This is how I set up my station. Nice and easy to work with. I don't have to reach very far for anything. Let's get started here. Now hopefully I can, I have you guys in a good position, right? No. Okay, swing you over here. Hopefully you guys know how to wash a cucumber. It's not difficult. So, because I'm doing, you ready for it? Bread and butter pickles. I am cutting off both ends. I cut off both ends when I do normal cucumbers anyway. And I have my mandolin in here. And please be cautious when using a mandolin because you can, I've never done it, but you can cut your fingers. Now also with bread and butter pickles, you do need onions. I hand slice those. I don't slice those with the mandolin because I find that to be more of a challenge. I can hand slice them thinner by hand. So we keep going like this until I have 20 cups, but I am tripling the batch, so I need 60 cups of sliced cucumbers. So, and they get away from me the odd time. In case you're wondering what I have these in, it's just a dish pan from the dollar store. It fits in there nicely. I don't have to keep dumping the little container that they give you with. I actually intentionally bought these for corn, so I could put this in my sink and do corn, which that will be a video for you guys very soon once I have these cucumbers done. So possibly a next week project when you guys will be seeing these videos. But yes, I'll bring it back when I move on to onions, which once I have this pan done, I'll be getting some onions done because you got to go back and forth, and I will explain why when we get there. So when we get there, I'll be back. So 20 cups of cucumbers. That doesn't even seem like a lot when you really think about it. Now this is all for one batch. I'm going to be doing more, but I'm trying to show you guys this part of the process with just one batch because it's easier to go along and get the onions mixed in with the cucumbers as you go. Now it is time to move on to onions. Now a word of wise, when you are doing this much canning and you're using knives, please be very careful because your hands become very wet, very soft, and very easy to cut. So please be very careful when you're cutting or anything. The reason I want to put that out there is because I know a lot of you that are watching these videos are either new to canning or, feeling the waters for canning. So that, just please remember that. Now you slice these nice and thin. Now if you want, use your mandolin. I don't have luck using my mandolin to slice onions. So you need 8 cups of sliced onions. Just going to show you with one onion. Yes, I know, overkill on the knife, but I like this one for onions. So I like this onion. So, just let me dry my hands off here for a second. Now, what you do is, there is more to this, but I'm going to show, actually, you know what, I'll do it now, then that way I have it done and I can just keep going with my other ones too. So, I gotta get my measuring cups, just bear, and I need to double check my recipe, hold on, my recipe. I need 1/3 of a cup of salt. Just so everybody knows, yes, this is an actual canning recipe. I just wrote it down on a piece of paper so I can keep it in my pocket while I'm canning. So in this way, if I need to look at a measurement, or I need to see how long I'm doing something for, it's right there. And I'm not ruining my book. I keep this piece of paper in my canning book, and then when I need it, I pull it out and I put it in my apron. So you sprinkle this. Now if you were strictly going about and you were just getting this canned, this one batch, you let this soak like this. Well, you mix it up. Let me do that. So you stir it up and you let this sit for 30 minutes, and then you move on to the next process, which will be what you guys see next. But I still have 2 more batches of this to go. Because you want to do this so they can sit and that salt will pull out that moisture from the cucumbers. You can't call them pickles yet because they're still not pickles. They are not pickles until they have cooked and been canned. You know, because they like to do the can. You're welcome if you know that song and it gets popped into your head real easy. There was one last night, my son thought he was being funny with and singing it. Oh, I got stuck in my head. Now I don't even remember what it was. But it'll come to me later, don't you worry. Maybe I'll say a verse of it and it'll just be stuck in your head because it's one of those songs. Okay. So you make sure everything is happy and merry, just like so. Do a better job of cutting your onions than I do, but they cook. This is a cooked product, so this will all break down, so I'm not worried about it. I'm dumping. There's already water coming out of those. Okay, so you let those sit for a half an hour. Okay, so all of the cucumbers and onions have been cut and they're sitting. They need to sit for a half an hour. So while they do that, let's get the next stage ready. You need to make a spice bag. Now, I need to make mine a little bit bigger, so I think I'm going to go that way. And my scissors. I'll use my sewing scissors. Alright. Okay, so I'm hoping you guys can see everything I'm doing here. Can you? Oh yeah, we're golden. Okay. So because I am tripling it, I need, what do I need? Three-quarters of a cup, because it takes 1/4 of a cup of pickling spice for each batch. But I'm just gonna use 1/4 of a cup 3 times. My little baby there. Who doesn't love that smell? I'm sorry, I could smell pickling spice all the time. So we've got 1, Let's get some string. Oh, 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 don't cut it there. Don't cut it there. You want more than what you need. Yeah, mine has a handy dandy cutter on it. I love that. Okay, so let's see if I can do this. This normally takes me a couple goes. Oh my dear goodness gracious, would you look at that? First go, man. Alright, yeah, I probably jinxed myself too by saying that. Twist it. Get that twist in there. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this down where I know the camera can see it, but I need to move it the odd time. I apologize. Pull it tight. I'm hoping you guys can see what I'm doing, because trust me, I am not going to take it apart to redo it. I wrap it around it, and then I tie it halfway, and so I have equal amounts of string going down. And I do that a couple times. Every time I go around, I make sure I tighten it. Then knot it. Now you can do all of those fancy dancy strings and knots and oh, don't do that. It's alright. It's alright. We will live, we will make it. There. There we go. That should have had 2 strings on it, but I pulled too tight. Not a big shock. I think that's my one thing I do all the time. But I know it's not going anywhere. Okay, so there we go. 1 cheesecloth ball spice bag. That's what it's called. Look at that. I still have pickling spice left. Yay! I was paranoid I wasn't going to have enough. Okay. You want to check the bag to make sure there are no holes, which I'm not seeing any. So that, my dear friends, is a good spice bag. Other than the fact I broke the string. Not a shock. Okay, so now I'm going to pause you for a moment so I can bring the pot over here and we're going to get the brine ready. So I have 15 cups of sugar in here. I figured I'd save you guys the heartache of watching that horrific amount of sugar. So I need 9 cups of vinegar. I feel like we should be on Sesame Street. 9 cups. Ha ha ha, 9. Give that a stir. Oh, my poor spoon just bent. Oh, you can't take it. Alright, here we go. Okay. Now you gotta add spices. We gotta add spices. So, let's just put paper here. I need 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric. Ooh. I need that 3 times, so 1. We need the same amount of mustard seeds. And won't open. Okay, there we go. So we got 1 and teaspoons, 3 teaspoons of celery seed. So there's 1, 2, 3. Wow. I'm sorry. I can't be the only person that does that when you get counting and you have to do that. I start feeling like the Count from Sesame Street. Count, what was his name? Count Dracula. It wasn't Count. It was Count, but they spelt it as Count, the number, if I remember right. It's been a few years. Okay. Now I'm doing this a little bit backwards. Normally you would add all of this to the pot that you're using, but because the pot I'm using is a little, preoccupied at the moment, soaking all this stuff, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this up to a boil, and then I'm going to pour it on top of the drained vegetables, because I got my sink washed and cleaned out. It's ready for me just to take that big old pot and dump it in my sink and let that drain for 5 minutes. Well, I get this beautiful combination up to a boil, and then I will take it and pour it over top of the vegetables that are in the pot, and then I'll bring that up to a boil. But you will see all that because I will bring you back for that. So, these have been soaked, they have drained. I drained them for 10 minutes. Now, I have my big pot of brine with the spice bag in there. I forgot to add that. You gotta add the spice bag to this. Be very careful. Now that we have everything in there, now we get to stir it. And you need to bring this up to a boil. And I'm sorry, I'm probably really loud at the moment because I think I'm right beside the speaker or the microphone. Oh no, I'm not. Okay, so it might not be too bad. So here we go. Now yes. Remember how I was saying be very careful because your skin gets really thin? Now no, I did not cut myself, but I have to wear a glove now because the skin on this finger is very thin and is now peeling because of how thin it is. So it's glove time. And I'm sorry, I love these spoons. They're silicone covered, they're metal spoons. You can, canning is so much easier with one of these things. Okay, so I'm going to finish stirring. Oh no, I'm done stirring these now. The big vat. I feel like I should have the witch's brew going, stirring. Okay, now that silly moment's over, let's go back to reality. So, this is going to, I have to bring this to a boil, and then turn her off and can her up. So we'll be back when this comes to a boil, and we're back at the jars canning, and we are now prepped and ready for canning. Okay, now all my jars have been washed and they were sterilized, but they have been sitting here because I've only got so many pots to use. Now I'm using a slotted spoon to get out this spice bag. Okay, so now we pull out our spice bag. Where's the string? There. You've done your job. Thank you, little spice bag. Okay, now I use a slotted spoon so I can get as many pickles into the jar as I can. You're going to see I'm going to have liter jars and pint jars. or quart jars, or however, whatever you call them. Get in there, little doggy. Alright. Now, and no, I don't have wide mouth jars. I wish I did. But all of my jars are regular lids. So we fill this up. And we smash it down, smash it down. And we keep going. Oh, I forgot a paper towel. I have some. Jonathan?
Yeah.
When you're done doing that, can you grab me a piece of paper towel, please? And thank you. Okay, let's move that out of your way so you see this. Just, yep.
Sorry.
I know. I see one. Thank you. Okay. Now, we're going to get some brine in here. Because it's, you know, a good distance, but you want that, you want to have brine in there. Okay, now, the deep bubble, deep bubble. Deep bubbling. Okay. Now, just wondering if I should put a little bit more. Actually, no. That looks perfect, just like that. Alright. Okay. Wipe your rim. Lid. Ring. Now these both, liters and pints, can for 10 minutes. We're not doing dill pickles, these are bread and butter. And there we go, look at that. There is 2, 4, 6, 7 quarts and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pints. Not bad for 3 batches of bread and butter pickles. So, give it a try. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the video. Share, like, subscribe. You know the deal.